So for the next part of this afternoon, we will be asking April and Juanis to join us and to give their views on your 10 most requested stocks. We asked you what are your 10 most requested, and we ranked them. And these are your 10 most in demand to be discussed in this briefing. And the way we're going to handle this is going to be in a different format. For those who are in FB Live, or wait, for those who are, the note here is saying that for those in Zoom, you will have to look at the gallery. You put it in gallery so that you can see Juanis and April at the same time. Because this is what I'm going to do. This is what we call a speed round. We're going to put the top 10 stocks one by one. We'll flash it on the screen. And what we're going to do is like this. We're going to ask Juanis and April whether they like or dislike the stock at the same time on my count. So, and then they will just say a few words why they don't like it, why they like it. So this will bring out the more authentic view of the two of our experts, and not necessarily the fundamental view of our analysts. But over the short term, in the next 6 months, this is what April and Juanis thinks, whether they like or dislike the stock. So this is how it's gonna go. On my count, when we show the stock, April and Juanis, I hope you can just bring out your paddle. We gave them a paddle. One is thumbs up.
Yes, we do. We do have.
Oh yeah, that one. Okay, April, do you have yours? April? Yes. Okay.
Here.
Sige. Oh, sabay. Okay, guys. The first stock. What's the first stock? Dito, the most popular stock. Number one, Third Telco. Stock went up from 2 pesos to all the way to 12 pesos, and was reported to have finished what? 1,900 cell towers, and they are confident that they will meet the government targets. But with the valuation of this stock, with the restructured valuation, it looks like it's as large as PLDT. Is the value of the franchise really being reflected by the market now? Is that justified? So do you like it or you don't like it? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, like. April doesn't like. Why, April? Why don't you like it, April?
Well, for us, of course, it's the valuation nga. Uh, well, so if we factor in nga the new shares that will be issued to inject the data that will come in, it's going to be valued at, say, PLDT globe level, when in fact, you look at the other countries. Are you saying that eventually data will earn as much as PLDT or Globe? And in other countries where you have a third player coming in, the market share never reaches the same as the incumbents. And remember, data is going to be predominantly into mobile. Wala yung fixed line. And then he doesn't have a fintech portion, yung mga Paymaya or a GCash. So I don't think it should be worth that much.
So price is it's a bit too much at this stage, April.
Yeah.
Oh, Juanis, chart looks good. Do you like it? Huh?
Yeah, well, the charts right now remain into an uptrend, although it's in a temporary correction. So similar to what it did in October to maybe December, it could lock itself into consolidation, but it doesn't look like the movements are done. So I guess just wait for it to wind up again, and then you probably have another opportunity.
Okay, thank you for that. So next stock, what do we have? Second, Jollibee, favorite of a lot of people. I bought this for my son. He made a lot of money over 20 years. And really, this is our favorite. I think this is the favorite of our customers also, no? And the price seems to have gone back to pre-pandemic levels, but they closing a lot of stores. and also in the Philippines now, but they're opening some other stores in other countries. Has the company really pivoted back to the new normal? Is it poised for recovery? Do you like it or you dislike it? April Juanis, go. Oh, Juanis doesn't like. April doesn't like. Oh boy, thumbs down. Juanis, what does the chart look like?
Looks like in the short term, it's topping off. A little bit of a head and shoulder formation, and it's breaking key moving averages. MACD is going to zero line and lower. So it tells me that the potential correction could continue. So it's quite possible we could see it maybe closer to 175 or 171. So maybe let's just wait for pullbacks there.
Okay, okay. April, you don't like it too?
Yeah, for me, it's more of a valuation issue because I think the reason why the stock went up sharply last year, no, is because of the company saying, hey, we're gonna earn 2019 levels already by 2021. And when you talk to them, they're really super optimistic about the turnaround of Smash Burger, CBTL. So talagang talaga it will make you confident eh. Kasi saan ka ba nakarinig ng gano'n ka-confident notwithstanding the pandemic?
Mhm.
So, that said, in the short term, the problem is I think it's trading at around 50 times PE, something like that.
50.
Basta some ridiculous number. Yeah, but ako, this is a stock that I watch out for, monitor, because if they really are able to turn around Smash Burger and CBTL, I think there's a good chance that it could go back to where it was before, yung
Mhm.
kanyang old valuation in the 300 plus level. So,
Okay.
yun.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Good.
short term, a little bit expensive.
Okay, okay. Sige, short term lang. Short term lang kayo dislike pareho at least. But long term mukhang okay naman. So
Yes.
for those people who still want to ask questions and we're not talking about it now, they can they can chat in the chat box in Zoom, and if you're in Facebook Live, through the Slido. Okay, and then our analysts may answer them as well. We have 5 analysts that will answer your questions there. Okay, let's go to the third most popular request. ACEN, the SRO, just finished at 2 pesos 37. But the stock price is at 7. So 237 yung stock price, that's 7 pesos trading now. Are we missing anything? Does this move to renewable power justify the price? Do you like it or you dislike it? Go. Dislike. Nako, parehong dislike. Ikaw naman, April, why don't you like it? Why don't you like ASEN?
First of all, 30% of what it earns still comes from a coal-fired power plant. And earlier on, I talked about how coal prices have gone up. And since ACEN is a relatively newcomer in the power sector, its coal-fired power plant does not have a fuel pass-through provision. So the earnings will be negatively affected. Secondly, yes, it's in renewable, pero di ba kayo nagtaka kung bakit yung presyo ni GIC, si Aran, is only 2 peso plus?
Yeah.
When it bought the shares, right? It's buying at 2 plus and Ayala pumayag sa 2 plus. Diba? So from that perspective, there will be a lot of dilution in the net asset value. Tayo, even us, we will be diluted by this transaction. We did the discounted cash flow. It's 3 plus. I think what made people excited about it is because of the rights offering, no? 1:1. So at 2 plus. So if you buy, say, the stock at 10 peso, then you have 2, then your average cost will go to, say, 6, no? So parang, uy, I'm making money regardless. So parang may ganong excitement. So baka kaya siya umakyat ng ganyan. It's not fundamentally based.
But it's consolidating now, no? No, one is why it's consolidating now. You don't like it too.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's consolidating because it fell quite a bit. So remember earlier, normally corrective in markets take 3 stages. So if you were to count this, I see an A, they're doing a B wave now, there could be one more. So maybe after a third wave correction, then that might present a much better window of opportunity. So I would stand maybe on the sidelines for now, and I'll wait for the next one.
Okay, let's watch this ACEN not too gung-ho about this. Okay. Next stock, BDO, largest bank. But looks like defaults have not been fully felt. No, I think this year, even maybe next year. So the banking industry may feel a lot of defaults. Do you like it or you don't like it? Go. You don't. Juanis doesn't like it, but April likes it. Let's go to for April first. NPLs. We're worried about the NPLs of the banks, but you like it. Why do you like it?
Yeah,
April.
earlier on, yeah, I talked about how I feel like banks still have an opportunity to catch up with the rest of the market. Feeling ko they're one of the worst performing sector. In other countries, they have actually caught up. In the Philippines, hindi pa. Secondly, yes, I know the NPLs are going up, but as I've said earlier on, these banks in 2020 have really provided a lot for these NPLs. No, they took advantage of the drop in bond rates to earn. They earned a lot of trading gains, and because of the huge trading gains, they booked a lot in provision. So nag-anticipate na sila na may increase in NPL. So yun. And remember when it's like the banks would have more than 100% NPL cover at this point. But
Mhm.
we know naman for a fact that if a bank has a non-performing loan, it will foreclose on a property and sell the property. So
Mhm.
ibig sabihin, they don't actually write off everything when they do an NPL. Probably the write-off will be much less. So you don't really have to have a 100% cover on NPLs. And with the economy recovering, looks like we'll see NPL speaking sooner rather than later.
Okay, one is. But you don't like the chart.
Well, when this fell down back to about 100 and the first rally day came in, I actually drew what the rally would look like, and it's looking exactly what I anticipated. So what I think is going to happen is that BDO will probably lock itself in a consolidation, similarly to what I pointed out earlier. So I would prefer to be able to buy BDO on a pullback. And although I agree with April, medium to long term, yes, I would like this because I can clearly see a big rounding base there. But on the short term, I would rather buy this in a dip and maybe not too much after a rally happens, especially when the rest of the market is going to correct.
Thank you for that one. It's a good thing you mentioned that these views are only on the short term. I
That's
also
right.
like to remind everyone that the views of our experts now is just on the short term. Juanis doesn't like the short term chart, but April likes it. So that just means that if the stock goes down, you may see some good opportunity to get in this BDO. So that's how we're going to look at the speed round. For the next stock, what do we have? Metrobank, another banking stock, but also facing the same problems of BDO or the defaults that you're going to face, the risks. April, Juanis, do you like Metrobank? Juanis doesn't like. April likes it too. Okay. Juanis, come muna. Why don't you like it?
Well, to me, it's the same position as BDO, only
Mm.
it's a little bit more advanced in the correction already. So
Oh,
this is what I anticipate BDO to do also in a short period of time. So let's just wait for this to come back down to the next support, hope maybe between 45 and 42, and let's wait for that opportunity.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, April, you like it?
Yeah, for the same reason, I like BDO, and in fact, Metrobank is a lot cheaper.
Mm.
It's trading below book value.
Mm.
It's more conservative in terms of NPL cover,
Okay.
and the insiders are actually buying. So, yun yung mga reasons.
Okay, good. So fundamentally okay then, but one sees the downside on the
Mhm.
chart. So another opportunity for Metrobank, for investors to in Metrobank. Next stock, Ayala Land. Price has gone back also from to pre-pandemic levels. Is it just about the A-REIT, the benefits that they're getting from A-REIT, or is that the only growth story of this stock? Because mall traffic is still low, right?
Yeah.
So do you like this or you don't like it? April, one is go. One is doesn't like. April also doesn't like. Oh, okay, April, you don't like the stock.
Wow.
Why?
Because well, this one kasi the it's a more integrated property development company with a bigger share in malls and residential, and of course the outlook for malls and residential, although improving, it's hard to expect it to go back to 2019 level, and with prices almost back to 2019 level,
Mm,
then
mm,
um, so what gives going forward, diba? It might
mhm,
have a hard
mhm,
time
mhm,
justifying even higher prices, no?
mhm, mhm. Okay, understood. And so the price has gone up to the valuations that has not yet recovered as well. One is the chart. You
Mhm.
don't like
Well,
it too.
the technical readings are also showing vulnerability. MACD is not looking good. It's breaking the second moving average, and that shows potential downside closer to 34, 36 or 35. So coming from 39, that's quite a bit of a percentage reaction that it could still do.
Okay, okay. Both don't like it over the short term. Anyway, okay. So next stock. Oh, Merrymart. Does this have the in-Jap magic? Is it going to be another Mang Inasal? But I was looking at 7-Eleven has 2,900 stores. And the market value of 7-Eleven is 90 billion. But Merrymart is 56 billion with only 18 stores. So is it justified? Do you like it? You don't like it? April 1 is go. Well, they both don't like it. Okay, April, why don't you like it?
Yun na nga, valuations, I think it's a little bit too much at 50 billion market cap, no? You have a lot. You actually have so many more retailers that are earning a lot more, trading at lower market caps at this point. So yun, and ito na lang. You will have an RHI with the mini stop, 'di ba? And
Mm-hmm.
in the past, for example, SSI had Family Mart, and they were saying that you had to reach 300 stores to be profitable, to reach
Mm,
scale.
mm, mm.
So, parang I mean, the grocery business is a hard business actually. So, it's just difficult to imagine that, you can maintain the current valuation. Of course, it's because of excitement on what can be, but I think the execution risk is a bit on the high side.
Yeah, high risk on execution. One is
Well, in this case, I hope I'm not wrong, but because right now the trend factor is still okay. There's been no support break. The only thing why I'm a bit more defensive now is because the MACD readings are diverging, RSI are diverging, and normally when I get readings like that, the potential for corrections could really come. So any break below 710 would probably trigger wider corrective movements for this. So I'd rather just wait for the correction to come in before I actually look to buy through this, because if the wideness of a pullback might be there.
mm-hmm.
I
Okay,
hope I'm
okay.
wrong. I hope there's one more up move before the correction.
Okay, okay. Sige, thank you, Juanis. Next stock, please. Metro Pacific. This stock, what, continues to be cheap versus its discount, versus this fair value, April. We've always had the high fair value for this. It just seems to be trading at a low price. Do you like it or you don't like it? April 1 is. One is doesn't like it, but April likes it. Okay, one is first. Why don't you like it?
Well, it's currently stuck into an area pattern already. The last high was lower than the previous one. Momentum signals are deteriorating. And by that standard, that there's greater chances that this could break support rather than break resistance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. April?
Yeah, I think I shared a while ago how I like the fact that the business is more defensive, and the more defensive businesses are closer to pre-pandemic level. Um, and valuations are very cheap. You actually get decent cash dividends by owning MPI, and there is also a share buyback program that's going on.
Okay, okay, good, good. So fundamentally cheap, but the chart is not looking good, huh? Okay. Next stock, please. Ayala Corporation, owners of BPI, Globe, Ayala Land. Their fair value is around 860. And how are we going to get there? Do you like this or you don't like this? April and Juanis? Juanis doesn't like it. April doesn't like it. They're both thumbs down. Okay. Juanis, why don't you like it?
Well, no, I wish I could have used this. But the problem is it's stuck in a consolidation. So, it makes it more difficult to make an assessment whether more downside or upside because it's right smack in the middle. But given the context that Ayala Core is a big cap, and I think that it probably would move along with the market rather than against what the rest of the index stocks are doing, I think there's still a greater chance that this might attempt to come back down closer to 773, maybe a little bit lower. So I would stay defensive for the meantime.
Okay, defensive. April.
For me, nothing really exciting to talk about in terms of the growth. No, it has a mix of growth stocks or growth companies and also defensive companies. So the only thing we have going for it potentially is valuations, and that part isn't exactly exciting. And our stance is, we might as well buy uh, index issues that are trading at cheaper valuations. So, kung mahal, di wag na lang, di ba?
Look at other index stocks. Okay, okay. Otto, the next stock, I think this one is SM Prime, another index stock. Foot traffic in the malls have improved, but still 50% of pre-COVID. Baba pa rin ang pupunta sa malls. No? So, do you like it or you don't like it, April and Juanis? Juanis doesn't like it. April doesn't like it. You both don't like it. Juanis, why?
I've seen two cracks in short-term support.
Ooh.
I see acceleration in the reaction. It's not oversold. That means there's still some downside potential reaction to 35 to 34. So I would back off.
Some correction there. April, fundamentals.
Yeah, valuations of SM Prime are, well, not only expensive, they're crazy expensive actually. And unlike the other companies, SM Prime really is a mall. So, they do have some offices, but not a lot. So, in terms of the REIT, the possibility of unlocking assets through REITs, if ever they do that, the impact is not going to be substantial. So, and also because you're trading at such an expensive valuation, ano pang i-unlock mo? Naka-unlock na siya. So, yun, parang wala na. And then, of course, as you said, the mall sales are actually taking a hit, and it could take time before it would return to 2019 levels. So growth prospects are probably not that great.
Can I interject? Because you mentioned earlier that liquidity will push this market, interest rates, and then, but you don't like Ayala Corp, you don't like SM Prime, but if liquidity comes back, you think they're going to look at this stock as well? Maybe not fundamentally, but on the liquidity side.
Yeah, but remember, so many years ago, the largest cap issue in the index was actually PLDT. And where is it right now? So, of course, there is a possibility that it will also go up, but it could underperform the other, index issues with better stories.
Okay. Sige. Hopefully, we'll see some liquidity in that stock, or despite the valuation, I don't know. On the next, I think we have one more stock. I think they're tied on the 10th. It's PLDT. So PLDT, there is a lot of competition slowly going to come in from Converge and possibly in the future from Dito. Do you like this or you don't like this, April and Juanis? Oh, Juanis likes it. Oh, they both like it. Good. Finally, we got something that they both like. Okay, Juanis, why do you like the stock, PLDT?
Well, here I have to stretch off a little bit more. I mean, from short to medium, because although yes, in the short term, it'll probably finish off that correction. I really want to be able to look for a potential buyback into this. So 1350, maybe to even 1325. It's not too far off from where we are. So I don't want to be engaging a sell here if I'm looking to buy around the corner, because potentially on the upside, the telcos look pretty good to me.
Good. Thank you. April, you like this also?
Yeah. So defensive business, well, just to give people a background on why PLDT is now performing better than Globe. Well, in the past, of course, we know medyo nahuli ang Smart, di ba? When we talk about data, mobile data, people would immediately associate it with Globe, but then Smart finally launched the free YouTube promo, and they've caught up. They're now grabbing more subscribers to the point that in 2020, despite it being a pandemic year and Globe reporting weaker earnings, PLDT was still able to grow. And uh, the funny thing is, I never realized that mobile phones are called mobile phones because people had to be mobile. And they weren't mobile in 2020, but in 2021, we expect, with the recovery, people being more mobile. So the outlook for both PLDT and Globe should improve. And on the fixed, the broadband business, yes, you have more competition with Converge, but PLDT has this advantage of actually having more broadband infrastructure. So natamaan din sila ng dole, di ba? Because they had to not use third party contractors
Yeah.
to connect people, but now they have addressed that by hiring their own people, and they're slowly catching up, and we are very early stages in terms of broadband subscription. It's more like a build it and they will come, rather than, gee, I have to grab market share from you or else I can't grow. So we're at that point. So still too early to get worried about competition from that side. And then yun na nga, on competition, kasi I think we were having this discussion, what if Dito becomes your digital, your Sun Cellular, diba? Yeah, so I don't think it's the same scenario, because isipin nyo mabuti, kung merong murang cellular subscription pero sobrang bagal ng internet. 'Di ba? Unlike in the past, te-text-text ka lang. So, sun to sun. Okay, cheap. O, sige, mag-text tayo para makatipid. Titiisin mo. Pero, pag nagbabrowse ka and then the internet is so slow, diba? I don't think you will tolerate that. You'd rather pay a little bit more to get your fast internet. So the stickiness of the clients will be largely dependent on the size of the capex, the quality of the service that they provide, and of course, these two incumbents are spending so much on the capex. I don't think Dito will be able to catch up to the point that they can grab so much market share, given that, of course, 'di ba, yung dalawa may existing na, nagdadagdag pa. Dito is just, starting and, from zero.
Okay. So both, at least fundamentally and technically, we like this stock, PLDT. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, I think we did already 11 stocks. If the audience would like to ask more, they can chat through. If you're in Zoom, you can put your questions in the chat box, and the analyst will answer those questions. If you have certain stocks that you want to discuss, ask questions about, their analysts also will answer your questions. And I like this speed round because April and Juanis came up with their quick answers and authentic answers, I must say. So I hope the audience were able to get some of those. But please be reminded, these are just short-term views, and anything can happen a few months from now when the vaccine is here. And their earnings comes to recover. Things can change depending on how things will happen. But I also like to remind you to have if this one of these stocks are your favorites, have a diversified portfolio. Have some of these cyclical companies that will go with the economy, like property and banks, and look at the stability of high dividend paying stocks like PLDT and Globe and ARIT. So have a basket, and then you will do well.